I think they're rooting for it. And I think they understand that this is just very different than Southern Charm. It's not taking over Southern Charm. It's not doing anything like that. It's just a very different aspect of Charleston.
Well, Leva, congratulations on the new show. I watched the first episode. It is so much fun. It's so great to see a different side of you as well. So why did you want to do this show? And what is that new side of you that we're going to see?
I mean, I definitely think you're going to see a whole different side of me, a whole different side of Charleston. I kind of love the fact that people, I think, are assuming it's going to be like Southern Charm, assuming it's going to be like Vanderpump Rules, like making all these assumptions. And I'm like, no. This is like a whole different thing. But I mean, in life, like that motivates me. I love when people think they know me or they know something. And I'm like, no, you don't. So yeah, I'm very excited for the viewers to have a little bit of fun. I kept telling producers, I was like, I miss like the old school, like, sort of the harmless growing up, mistakes that just didn't feel dark. And it was just, people being people, trying to figure it out. And I really encouraged my staff, despite like in real like life on a day-to-day, I'm like, be controlled. Do not, blah, blah. And I'm like, I want you to keep your mess out of my business. But I was like, but let people know your real life, like be vulnerable. I know that like they tell me stuff way more than I want to know, but I was like, let people just really get to know you, so that they can, because I do really care about the kids. Like, I really love them. I root for them. I know a side of them that you guys will start to get to know, but yeah, I'm really excited for people to laugh and cry and, be confused and, maybe want to come visit Charleston. I think it's I don't think anybody's really sort of peeked into sort of like the nightclub life, which I think everyone's like, oh, it's like Vanderpump. I'm like, no. I think it's like a little more below deck. Like this is a very chaotic business. This is a high liability business. Like, when it's lineup, it's like showtime. Like there's hundreds of people around the door. Like this is like, it's like running a concert every night. There's no place for like boo-hoo in the corner, or I'm having big feelings, or I'm doing, like it's showtime, and people are spending a lot of money to be in here, and their experience needs to be epic, and they need to not feel the heat that is in the back of the house. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's going to be fun and fast, and I really don't none of my staff across the board, and I easily have short of 100. Between all these restaurants are ordinary. I really really try to hire people that will be with us for a long time and have passion for the business. And, I like to say have like a certain magic about them, so it's really a big family, and I'm excited for you guys to meet a bit of my work family.
Definitely. I love it so much. I mean, like you said, people, of course, are going to compare this to Vanderpump. So how would you say that this is totally different from a Vanderpump Rules? Yeah,
I mean, I think Vanderpump Rules is just, and I love Vanderpump. Don't get me wrong. I've watched it. Mm-hmm. I'm like a fan, I met Kody and Lala and Chyna at BravoCon. I was like, oh, I'm such a fan. So yeah, I love that show. I think it's so great. But this is sort of like, when producers came in, and they wanted to come shoot on Fridays and Saturdays. And I was like, so have you been in here on a Friday or Saturday? And they were like, yeah, it's like, some of them came from Vanderpump, like, yeah, it's like, and I'm like, no, come back at 10 p.m., like when we're not shooting, and just hang, and then after the weekend, they were like, yeah, it's like, I was like, yeah, it's like being, at war. It's insane. There's people yelling outside, and, and this is like a business of money. So it's like, you need to sell the tables, you need to hit the numbers, there's hundreds of people outside. You need to make sure everyone gets in happy, leaves happy. If they can't get in, that, you're not offending them. You need to be nice at the door. There's communication running through the club, like shoulder to shoulder, just trying to get through. Everything is rushed, so it is very below deck, like about to hit a storm kind of. And then like, yes, all the messiness and Vanderpump's beautiful and the hospitality and all that. It's almost like they're a little baby, this show, it's like Southern Charm, Vanderpump, Candy and the gang, and Below Deck had a small child and a magical unicorn. And that's what this is, it's very different. That's little bits and pieces of all those things. Mm-hmm. But it's, I don't even think when they came to shoot it, they realized how crazy the front of the door of a space like this can be, So
are we going to get more of a peek inside your personal life? Obviously, Lamar isn't on so much of Southern Charm, but he is on a little bit of the show. So are we going to see more of your personal life? And were you guys ever hesitant about bringing your relationship on camera?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are hesitant. And not just hesitant because, I'm worried. I just think we're kind of boring. Like, I don't think that there's that much. You might see us argue a bit. We don't necessarily agree on much of anything, except for that we love each other. We definitely are like a dog and cat in business, like just very different. We're like, what is it, like Tom and Jerry? Like, I run things, on the human aspect of it and, which is very valuable. And he runs things sort of more on like a skeleton black and white scale, which is also valuable. But I think you start to get in trouble if you run the business on that way on just one side. Right. So I do think that our arguments sort of make for like a special thing, So, I mean, that's sort of really what you'll see. Lamar is really quick to be like, I'm done. I'm not working with this guy anymore. I know where this road is heading, and I secretly do too. Sometimes I'm far more forgiving than he is. And I do want to say that sometimes I'm like, I may be disappointed, but like if 1 out of 10, I'm not, and this kid ends up being like this incredible, successful, like, whatever, business owner, and I was a small part of that, like, then it's worth it. I mean, whatever, what else is life about? So, we run a little differently in terms of decision-making about the business. And it's every single thing. Like, I'm looking up at these flowers, or I'm looking up at like chandeliers, or I'm looking up at like who's on schedule today. And literally every decision in this business is a concession between me and Lamar. There's a fight behind everything. Yeah, so you'll see him sort of step in a little bit. It's very, very mom and dad in here. Like if Lamar is walking in and it's, like they're sort of like, what did we do? Why is Lamar here? Me, it's like they can't tell. Like, is she coming in for something fun, or is she coming in to fire half of us? Like they just never know with me. So it could be like I'm in a good mood, or it could be that, listen, guys, I want to meet all of you in the back, or like you right there in the back. There's definitely times while filming that I was just like, abandon ship. I'm done. I can't. Poor Bill Langworthy, our producer, I'm pretty sure he got some texts. I was like, Bill, I can do this. I can't do this. It's crazy. You can't air this, And I was just saying, it's like kind of like opening your underwear drawer to the world, but like your curated but messy underwear drawer that you're like, I really picked all these out perfectly, but it's kind of messy, and it's, opening up your closet. So it feels very vulnerable. I'm just hoping that the viewer takes everything with a grain of salt and just enjoys it and knows that at the end of the day, it's like a big family over here. So I'm proud of them. Was
this more challenging than Southern Charm for you?
It's definitely challenging in a different way. You know what I mean? I really adore all the kids that work for me, but I can't, it has different challenges. I mean, we built this all ourselves over the past decade. And, having people in the business that you root for, or you invest in or whatever, and then they sort of muck up your brand. That's not a nice feeling. But it's a lot, the problems here are just like silly, the kids just make these silly mistakes. Whereas like Southern Charm, it can be a lot more personal for me because, some of those things are 10-year friendships or whatever, where you're really, really hurt, or, you feel unheard or unseen. And those are real friendships and people you've rooted for, or really like, that can really like hurt your feelings. So it's two really different sides of my life, to be honest. two that I both like love and care about, but very different in terms of like Southern Charm is very emotionally draining. And this side is just very like, my brain is just like dead by the end of the day, just trying to work and run business and make the right decisions and all those things. So it's two very different things.
It's a lot to juggle. It really is. And has everybody from Southern Charm shown you support in this show? I mean, because I know that there were some rumors going around that Craig wasn't too happy about it. Is that true or false? And has everybody been on board helping you out?
I mean, I definitely think that there were at times people who maybe were not super thrilled. In Craig's case, like Craig just congratulated me as of recent. I saw him like on a green screen. He was really nice about it. So, you know, he definitely came and they've all congratulated me, you know, most of them, I want to say, like to date. And you'll see a lot of them like make cameos in the show. But I definitely think there were some like tricky feelings, rightfully so. I mean, some of these people are like in the business now for several years, and I can see that being tricky. Humans are humans, and things get complicated, but I think we've all like moved on, and I think they're all supportive. That's what I feel anyway, unless I see them and some other stuff happens. I feel as though they're all being supportive at this point. Yes. Good. So I think they're rooting for it, and I think they understand that this is just very different than Southern Charm. It's not taking over Southern Charm. It's not doing anything like that. It's just a very different aspect of Charleston.
No, definitely. It is. I've never realized what a nightlife scene Charleston had until like I watched this, and it's so much fun. Have things with you and Craig gotten better since BravoCon? Are you guys on better terms?
I actually like commend the fans for all their love, because it was like such a loving experience of so many nice, like sweet people that we were just all in such a good mood. I don't think any of us had fights. Like all of us made amends. Me, Craig, me, Vanita, me, Madison, like everyone just sort of made amends and just sort of put everything to bed. Obviously at the reunion, you see Craig and I sort of like start apologizing. We've even texted as of recent. I do care about Craig. He's like a really good friend of nearly a decade. I also was like just really hurt. I think that we just had to like get through it and understand. Somebody brought to my attention like sort of where his head was at, and I think people probably brought to his attention where my head was at. And I feel as though we can, we had a text where we were like, we don't want to fight anymore. Like, I care about you. You're a good friend. You're a good person. I don't want to fight with you anymore. But just don't like we're not going to fight. I think Craig and I also are like siblings. Like, we don't need to fight. Me and Craig don't need to fight.
No more fighting.
No more fighting. All love. Yeah.
I don't know if you've been keeping in touch with Taylor since filming Wrap, but a lot of people were like, are Taylor and Shep going to get back together after seeing them at BravoCon? I mean, what do you think about that?
I had drinks with Taylor and Olivia, and I think this ship has sailed for her and Olivia in terms of the men of Southern Charm. I think that they're done. I think they're both wonderful, and they're great catches, and they're sweet girls. I adore them both. So no, I don't think that's coming back from my talks with Taylor. No.
Mm-hmm. Have you caught up with Craig and Austin on Winter House? Do you watch that?
Yeah, so I watch Winter House, and I actually think it's great. I think it's a great show. I'm watching it right now, and I'm enjoying the entire cast and the whole thing. So
yeah, is it hard watching Austin talk about Olivia so much? Because it seemed like he was really into her at that time.
Oh, Austin was very into her, like the entire time filming. I mean, he literally was just like, he was like, "This is going to be my wife." Olivia and I, before we started filming Southern Charm, had a dual birthday because our birthdays are a few days apart at Bourbon and Bubbles, and he was just like, "Who's that girl? I'm gonna marry her." Like he was very into her from the beginning. You don't see it that way necessarily on the show, but he really was. But I just think that was what it was, and it's done. So
yeah. Is it hard watching Craig's behavior on the show? Is that like, it seems like some. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think maybe Craig is managing a lot of different things right now. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you're just like. But Craig's like a passionate guy, and he will say what he feels. He's really not one to like go marinate on his thoughts or anything, which probably makes him great TV and also makes him kind of an authentic person because you know how he feels. It's not like he's going to walk away and say some other crazy thing. So I do appreciate that about Craig. The delivery isn't always the best, but I think he gets that. So, you know, it's not fun to watch me either. So, you know, whatever.
Do you keep up with Catherine at all when filming wraps, or are you guys?
I do. I actually invited her as of recent to a party, and I think I was texting with her about something. She sent me like a funny mom, like some funny mom memes on Instagram. I haven't seen her in person. I will say, I always say like I own the scene, but I'm not in the scene. I'm definitely not out as much as, you know, the other ones are. Anytime I get, I'm really like, honestly, just like, I would rather just put my kid to bed, you know, and I am in the lucky position where I'm with my children full time because I'm still married and, you know, like he's still in my house and the other moms on the show are share custodies or whatever. So like they have nights where they're out and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. As a boss, what is the one rule that your employers cannot break? Because obviously on the show, we do see some coworkers dating, you know, one of the employees, you know, was promoting for other clubs and things like that. But what is that one rule that you just cannot break?
Well, I mean, a big rule is promoting for other clubs. That's not one that's supposed to be broken. You know, sometimes I've gotten to the point, I mean, this is 10 years, you know, we're coming on our 10th year of owning Republic, building Republic. Back in the day, I was, you know, I had Maddie's job up front. Like I was running the VIP girls and I was actually doing like 4 of their jobs back in the day, which I like to remind them of. I was like, I did all of your jobs. There's no way you can't just do your one job. I did 4 of them. But yeah, I mean, I definitely, some things I think I have to sometimes be more clear about when, you know, I innately think like, you've got to know this is not going to be right. But like, then I forget, I'm like, they're 22. Of course they don't know this, you know? And yeah, so there's that. There's like, you know, we're very, very big on like loyalty to our group. Like, also because we invest so much in these kids, you know what I mean? Like, I really want them to be their best. I like to promote within, you know, I think that employee retention is the smartest game out there. I think happy employees is the smartest game out there. I think understanding that your employees are humans is the smartest game out there. And by smartest game, I mean like entrepreneurial intelligence. You know, and I think that understanding that business is personal is the smartest game out there. You know, I like to also say like I didn't get here by mistake. You know, don't confuse my silliness and like my earrings and glam for anything less. You know what I mean? When it comes to my business, I'm pretty serious and I am very deliberate about why I do things. But yeah, promoting with other clubs and a big thing I'm not into is like, if you're a manager, I really don't want you to be dating someone you manage. So that can get very tricky. You have to be a very, very, very particular person to be doing that. And that can still get tricky. You know, you have to have really, really good tools. So that's a big thing I'm not into and they know that. As for the rest, it's like, these are all a bunch of like hot, young kids making like a ton of money and living their best lives. And it's like, I can't keep up with who they're dating. And, you know, the other day I had one of my girls and she was just, I was like, well, I thought, what happened to your girlfriend? She's like, oh, I'm dating a guy now. And I'm just like, oh, okay. The guy you were dating, you're dating a girl and a guy. Like, I can't even keep up. I don't know. It's a new generation. I don't know. I don't know what, there's no rules. There's no nothing. I'm just like, as long as the drama's outside of these walls, you know, that's why I always say Showtime, because I'm like, I don't care if you're fighting with him tonight. It's about who's coming to join us in this living room right now.
Definitely.
So, you know.
Well, Leva, congratulations on the show. I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's so much fun. And it's so great to see a whole new side of Charleston and a whole new side of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. You're always so fun.
It's a pleasure. So much fun. Thank you. Bye. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.